Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? Love Island series 11. We are now on episode 36. I am behind with my videos, and that's due to the fact that I really have not been feeling all that great. So I haven't been in the best of mind frames to do videos for you all, but I am back. I'm here. I'm ready. And I've literally been watching these two catch up, and oh my god, these producers weren't playing this year. Like seriously, they were not playing this year with how much they are messing with these people. But then some of these people up in here can't help themselves but act messy, hella messy, and literally show their true personalities, because they're literally in a sardine can 24/7 with the same people day in day out. That all sorts are starting to come out. Anyway, before I get into this video, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, do all the good things that you do, because I am still on the road to 1k. Okay, all I'm gonna say, right, as we get into the videos, I swear down, don't show me no more of Mimi seeking AOI or vice versa, man, because this bullshit is not going to end well. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's kind of gonna be like, I think they just need to get to a point where they literally cut things off with each other, like completely have full closure, like they're either going to do something or they're not going to do something, because this back and forth is messing with my senses. It really is, because it is gonna be a kind of like, you fool me twice, shame on me situation for Mimi. Like seriously. So the recoupling is done, so we will get to see what happens next. Basically Josh is saying that with Mimi recoupling with him, and also with the speech that she gave, it kind of reassured him. I'm just like, my guy, at this stage Mimi is keeping it 100. Mimi was to a point keeping it 100, but there's some parts of me where I don't think she's fully keeping it 100 with him. Because my thing is, she could have just literally went rogue and decided to pick Ayo, and that would have been fucked up, like in everyone's books, to be honest with you, because a whole scenario and situation is happening around that issue with them two, and plus everybody else wanting to poke their nose into their situation too, which kind of did piss me off, to be honest with you. Because people are going on like Mimi should have no feelings. Yeah, people are going on Mimi should have got rid of those feelings, not realizing she was with that man from when Love Island first started. She's built up a rapport and connection to that man. So even though she's finding Josh attractive and she's wanting Josh, and the situation happened between her and Ayo, she's not going to be able to shut those feelings off like that. She isn't going to be able to. So there's going to be stupid decisions, which I'll get to soon enough, that Mimi is going to make at the end of the day. But people need to, keep their nose out of their business, because as the saying goes, too many cooks spoil the broth, and that's what they're doing with these Chinese whispers about them too. Also, I'm going to point out as well, so nobody forgets, that it was Ayo that started that whole narrative, because it was Ayo talking to Joey and talking to Sean about how he still had feelings for Mimi. It was Ayo who said to Joey that he wanted both of them. He would like to have had Mimi and Jessica, but he knows that he can't. So Ayo is chatting out the back doors at the moment, yeah, and then trying to present us something else completely to other people's faces. So you get Josh fully complimenting Mimi on the speech that they had, and he basically said it was needed, and Mimi responded to him by saying that she's a slow burner. And Josh talks about how he is quite of a territorial man. He is, from what he's shown so far, he is quite territorial with the things that he likes or he wants to covet, which is now Mimi. He's got Mimi set dead in his sights basically. But there's also, and I will get to it in the next episodes, there's also a hint of a double standard with this man too. Anyway, we shall continue. We shall continue. So he turned around as he's talking to her, and he says, "Do you think I am allowing you to have your space?" He probably didn't mean it in the context that I probably took it as, but when it comes to the words allowing you, you're not allowing Mimi to do nothing, nada, zip, zilch. At the end of the day, Mimi's going to do what she wants to do, okay? So it's either she has her space or she don't have her space. She don't need to be asking Josh for that permission to have her space at the end of the day. You see the camera pan and Ayo and Jessica are literally watching Mimi and Josh hard, like when they walk off and they're having their conversation. Ayo basically felt that Jessica's speech drawed him out. I don't think it did at the end of the day. Jessica spoke the truth that he does need to work on his communication, which is the truth, because as I've already keep saying, Ayo says a whole lot of something without saying anything at all. He literally talks in riddles all the damn time, and you literally have to be a decipherer to understand what it is that the fuck he's saying to get to the crux of the matter and a point of it at the end of the day. So Jessica's talking about the communication issue ain't a problem at all. So he basically believed that Jessica should not have drawn him out in the speech in front of everybody. So this is what I mean with Ayo. He doesn't want to be embarrassed in front of other people. He doesn't want to be called out about his behaviour in front of other people. He doesn't want to look a certain way in front of other people, because he does care what other people think about him. At the end of the day, that's how I'm seeing it. He cares what other people think about him. But at the end of the day, Jessica was just saying what she needed to do. And this is why I always say, people, when they're doing their recoupling speeches, if they've got an issue with that person, don't say it in your recoupling speech at the end of the day. Literally have that conversation with them prior to that or after that at the end of the day to air out your grievances. Because as I keep saying, the recoupling speeches or the speeches that they have should just be about the person that you're recoupling them and recoupling with them and the reasons why. Yeah, shouldn't be about anything else, like with Grace saying about Ruben, like she's very fully open. I'm like, why do you have to say that for? Why does Ruben need to know that you could have had that conversation by yourself with him? Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of the same thing with the communication issue with Jessica. She could have had that conversation with Ayo, but at the end of the day, Ayo needs to be drawn out of his proverbial comfort zone. So we see Nicole and Kieran, and basically she's all excited because you know what, she got a boyfriend. She got a boyfriend now, and she didn't expect that in the slightest. She's basically told Kieran there's no getting rid of her now. She's saying that she's coming to trust Kieran now and agrees that Kieran has proven himself and that she's madly in love with him at last. I really hope it works out for them. I do. I really do hope it works out for them, because they've literally gone through the pains and tribulations of every part of their relationship. So hopefully they're coming outside of the good end now. So it moves to Jessica talking to Jessie and Grace, because them three, for some reason, have gravitated together. Jessie, Grace and Jessica. It's come... every little bit of issue that either one of them have, they gravitate together and discuss it. So Jessica's talking about Ayo's comment about being drawn out. And I don't know why Jessica's decided that, you know, Grace is the oracle of the villa, but she has, and that's where she's gravitated towards to. That's who she's made friends with, and I'm like, okay. Sometimes I think Jessie just sits in the background doing absolutely nothing, or there is sometimes she will do the mostest, and there's sometimes where she'll be a little bit messy, like really be a little bit messy. So basically Grace is telling Jessica that she believes that Ayo is embarrassed. I don't think Ayo is all that embarrassed. As I said, I do believe that he takes a lot of stock in what people think about him and didn't necessarily appreciate the comment that Jessica made about the lack of communication, because basically Ayo believes that he is the best thing since sliced bread. And as with Joey, as with Ayo, as we've seen, they don't accept any type of responsibility for anything or how their women might be feeling about the shit that they've done. That's what happens at the end of the day. Ayo does not take any negative comment about himself at all, no matter how valid that they may be. He won't take it in the slightest. So Ayo will not learn from it. He won't learn from it. He will just see it as Jessica literally drawing him out. So Jessica literally, that's the first time you see Jessica get frustrated with Ayo and basically say that she's struggling because of the fact that he does talk in riddles. So Mimi does come over at that point and sits down and listens to what it is that they were talking about. Now, I don't know why Mimi thought that it would be a good idea for her to put her 2p worth in. Yes, you've been with the man for a month, but you know what? It's not your place to do that anymore. Really ain't your place to do that anymore. And I don't think Jessica really technically wants to hear what Mimi has got to say when it comes to Ayo at the end of the day. So Mimi is there basically talking about how you kind of have to read between the lines with Ayo. And it does kind of come over as though she's protecting Ayo. That's what it looked like to me, and I thought that was hella weird in that sense. So then she goes on to herself, and Mimi talks about how intense Josh is, and I'm just like, but isn't that what Mimi wanted? Isn't that what she asked for? She wanted a man that was about her, and this man has now come in, who's not a little boy, he's not umming and ahhing about the place, and he's showing her exactly what he wants and how he wants it in that sense. So he's showing her that he wants her. That's what she asked for. Well, hey ho, I just think as Mimi's already said, she's not used to all of that attention upon herself. So Mimi will naturally see it as very intensive, when actually it may not be, because Ayo did not give her that at all. And I think at this point she needs to kind of give Josh a try and literally move away from the Ayo train now. Like, move away from that water. You don't need to drink that water of Ayo no more. Like, seriously, Mimi needs to move away from it. So Mimi's talking about how she feels like it's a bit eggshelly. And what she means is she feels that sometimes with Josh, that she's treading lightly, she's treading on eggshells, and I'm like, nah, I don't think she is. I think she's basically, because the feelings are still there between Ayo and Mimi, we see this, we can see this point blank period clearly, and I think Mimi's probably getting in her feels or getting a little bit paranoid as to how Josh is coming across. So she feels that she is not able to, like, you know, draw Ayo for a chat like they used to and have those talks, because it's kind of like she's believing that it will blow up with Josh in that sense. And sometimes I am like, you need to stop begging or borrowing drama from things which are not there at the end of the day. And people tend to make issues into a bigger issue, and so that they can kind of step back and do some fuckery shit. And this is how some people act and talk when they're ready to do some fuckery shit with people that they're not meant to be doing fuckery shit with. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. So you got Connor and Lolly, and I'm gonna say I don't see them two together past this villa experience. Like, really, if they are, I'll be very, very shocked. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm expecting that if they are, it'll be a friendship type of thing, because I don't see not a being with them two, not no chemistry, nothing at all. So you see Ayo and Jessica having a chat again, and basically he says to her that he knows it's not been easy the last 2 days, and I'm just like, it's not been easy since you two have got together, to be fair. It comes up again that, you know, Jessica's had the issue with the fact that Ayo chatted to Mimi and didn't tell her that, you know, they had to talk, and again it's going to come off as though he needs to be telling her each time he has these chats with Mimi. So basically my thing is that Jessica kind of comes off as a little bit needy, like she does, and comes on a little bit strong, which may put any dudes back up at the end of the day. So basically Jessica is saying to him she doesn't understand why he would not tell her he had a chat with Mimi when she's an easygoing person. Ayo said that he wanted to talk to her and not have to explain himself to anyone else. So basically what Ayo is trying to say to Jessica is that if he's got something to say to Jessica that's of importance, yeah, he will come, he will sit down and give her his version of events. That's how I'm going to say it. His version of events, his version of what he wants to tell her. And then to him, it's like, well, I've explained myself before anyone else could say anything to you, so you kind of have to give me credit for that, in other words. So basically, you see Jessica literally having to explain her comment that she made at the recoupling. And I thought at this point it's kind of manipulation on Ayo's part, because he's literally making Jessica feel bad for putting him on notice for the things that, you know what, are valid to her. He invalidated what she was feeling at that point in time. So basically, he can see what's lacking from her and voice it, but she can't see what's lacking from Ayo and voice it comfortably without him getting on her. That, yeah, so he made it her fault. And then she was the one that had to make Ayo feel better for the comment that she made. That's hella bullshit in my books. That's hella bullshit in my books. So as they're getting ready for bed, Ruben does let Jessica know that, you know what, with her speech, she smashed it. And I think that was something that Jessica really needed to hear, because at the end of the day, Jessica was not in the wrong in bringing up her grievance, in bringing up the issue that is Ayo at the end of the day, and his lack of communication, yeah. But he decided that he was going to put Jessica's head in a spin, yeah, and make it seem as though she did something wrong when she didn't. And she was the one that ended up apologizing to that dude, yeah, for something that he should have validated. Don't make no sense in the slightest. So then we get to the daytime, and basically Sean is in Happy Land, and Ayo's sitting there moaning about Jessica stating that about the communication is key in her recoupling speech. And again, this is why I say people should just make their speech as blasé as possible about the person they're going to pick, and any other issues they can speak about prior to that or after that, because this is what you get all the time. So basically, for me, Ayo is not listening to the needs of his woman. So I believe, for context, Jessica had no choice but to say it then, because that was the only time Ayo would have listened completely to what it is the frick she's saying, basically. So if he felt drawn out, I would say that was an Ayo problem, not a Jessica problem at the end of the day. Ayo is basically saying that everything is closed with Mimi. And Ruben is talking about Grace and that he feels good vibes. And basically then had a moan about Grace's speech, which I would have done really, because I don't understand why Grace would say what she said in her speech in terms of, I'm fully open. That's kind of sending the message to the person that you are about to pick that you are not interested, but you have no other options right now. And I kind of think that's what she's doing with Ruben. Lolly is basically saying that she's excited to get to know Connor. Basically, Mimi's acknowledging the feelings, but respecting that her and Ayo are in different situations, and Mimi accepts that there's chemistry there with Ayo, but she isn't going to go and disrespect Josh at the end of the day. So basically, Ruben decided to take Grace for a chat because he wanted a conversation about her freaking speech. It was kind of rude at first, because Grace was literally doing herself some breakfast, and Ruben was like, nope, I want to talk now. Can you like do your breakfast afterwards? And I was like, oh wow, you couldn't even wait for the girl to have her breakfast first before you dragged her away for that chat, because I'm telling you, she would have needed the breakfast first, needed some vitality and some energy to deal with the bullshit that was just about to come her way. So Ruben talks about how he loved her speech in the beginning, and then when it came to the open bit, Grace already has a ready answer. Grace could talk circles around people all day, every day, at the end of the day. She says that she wasn't doing it to scream and shout to everyone else that, you know what, I'm open, come and pick me. It was just the speech for Ruben at the end of the day. To me, that made no sense at all, but hey ho, these are the people that we're working with. So Ruben said to Grace that it wasn't an issue, but I'm like, you're lying, because you just told the lads it was an issue that she said what she said at the end of the day. And Grace basically got pissed at Ruben, as she said to Matilda, because Ruben brought up the issue and she didn't get to have her breakfast in that sense. So I'm like, hold on, but Grace said to Ruben within his their discussion that it was a minor. But then she says to somebody else that she was pissed off with the fact that he brought her forward for that conversation, and basically saying that if she was someone who was not strong of mind or not in a headspace or a mindset, she would have taken that conversation negatively. But I'm like, but that's you right now, my girl. Grace has taken that conversation negatively because she's brought it back to Matilda at how pissed off she was. Ergo, you've taken it negatively. At the end of the day, your whole pissed off vibe shows that, you know, you've taken it negatively. I swear to God, these people don't know what the word oxymoron means at all, because they're showing it in droves, like literally showing it in droves. They're talking one thing, but then their actions show something completely different when it comes to another person. So then the text comes in, and it's game sex match, and I was like, oh, here we go. So basically it's a series of questions that each person is asked, and on a bat they have to write down their answers. The umpires were Connor and Lolly, and the questions were asked to both boys and girls, and if the answers didn't match, they get splashed in the face with squash. Let me tell you, Connor was a dead aim for that. When he threw that bloody squash, it drowned him. Okay, and if they do match, they get to walk closer together to the net. The next question was, if your partner wasn't coupled up with you, who would they be partnered with? This is where it got sticky, because I said Jessica will really say Ayo for Mimi, and same for Josh. So Matilda and Sean got it right with Kieran and Nicole, because, you know, them being best friends with her and all. So Sean would have had Nicole and Kieran would have had Matilda, basically. So Ruben guessed right with Grace picking Josh. I said, I'm telling you, that girl ain't gonna stop. That girl ain't gonna stop when it comes to Josh. So Joey, in his infinite wisdom, because, you know, the green-eyed monster must have hit Joey hard and slapped him upside the head and said, come on, open your mouth and say something, I dare you to, yeah? Turned around and said, if Grace is being totally honest, she would have wrote my name. And I just thought to myself, Joey, are you being so obtuse that you have a hellcat of a woman in Jessie who literally shows her jealousy side like no ends? Like, seriously, come on. So Jessica said, Joey, you wish. Joey said it's the truth. What? I don't understand why Joey was doing this. Grace at this point didn't say a word, and basically Jessie turned around to Joey and brought up that, but you're not Grace's type on the outside. And I basically said, well, yeah, he is, because they had a relationship on the outside, love, and then they tried to make it work in here. So yes, he is Grace's type, and Grace is Joey's type, as per se what we're seeing right now with this behaviour. But Joey kept on. Jessie was telling him to stop, you know, and Joey wanted Grace to have chosen him so bad, but she didn't. And this is Joey's problem, man. He actually thinks he's the fucking bee's knees in every girl's lives. And even though him and Grace had ended things and Grace is getting on with her shit, Joey still wants to make issues with this girl. Like, full on issues with this girl. So Sean, who don't shut his mouth as it is, decided to jump in. So Grace in her VC said that she was disappointed. And I'm like, but at that point, my love, you were quiet. You didn't make your displeasure known at all within the issue that was going on with Joey. So basically it gets to who is more emotionally invested in the relationship. I thought at first this will be a hard one for Kieran due to the insecurities that he has been having with Nicole. Both Ayo and Jess put themselves. Jessie said that Jessica is more openly affectionate. Sean then jumped in and decided, I'm a throw a grenade in all your shits by saying what I'm saying, and turned around and said it could be invested elsewhere. And I was like, Sean, if you don't shut your ass mouth right now and stop trying to cause trouble, it will be the last word you ever say. So Jessica then piped up and was like, piped up and talked about like him being in Casa and how he basically dealt with things then. And I thought, but my girl, you can't bring that up because you were in the same boat. You were a Casa girl, and you know what? You broke up a relationship there for AO picking you in that sense. So Jessica then got mad with Sean, and she told him, "Don't actually fuck with me," basically. And as Sean is speaking on a loaded issue for Jessica, and again Sean still don't shut up for real. And I'm like, AO is literally standing by and being quiet right about now, and letting Jessica just deal with the situation at hand. And I'm like, my guy, you need to open your mouth and tell your boy to shut it, like seriously shut it, because your girl is getting pissed. So Sean basically didn't heed the warning that Jessica gave him and said, if we are being real though, Mimi is still in the equation. I was like, my God, Mimi, everybody was just like, Josh and Mimi didn't know where to look. So Jessica decided in her infinite wisdom she's going to call Mimi into the fray, and basically called out Mimi to answer the question. And I thought at that point, now Jessica, you should ask your man what he's been saying to Sean and to Joey, for Sean to get the idea that Mimi is still in the equation at the end of the day. But you know, no critical thinking up in this place at all. So Mimi basically adhered to what it was that Jessica asked and said, I am not in the equation. Then Joey piped up, and Joey said, there are still feelings there. And I'm just like, oh Lord. I just making Jessica dig a deeper and deeper hole with his silence, because Ayo knows what he said to Joey and what he said to Sean at the end of the day when it came to Mimi. So they are going to then think, well, this man's still got feelings for him, for her at the end of the day. It became heated, like fully heated. Mimi keeps on going on about this slow burner thing, but you know what? When it comes to the slow burner thing, I think it's a cop-out comment, because when she was with Ayo, there was no slow burn about it. No slow burn about it at all. Sometimes I think the slow burn comment is like just like a get out clause at the end of the day. So someone brought up Ayo again, and Josh basically said, why is everyone keep bringing up the AO thing, because it's done? Because Josh was getting hella frustrated at this point. Mimi kept on looking at the floor, and I'm thinking, yeah, my guy, that situation ain't done yet. It really is not. As much as I want it to be done with Mimi and AO, that situation ain't done yet with them two. Jessie said Joey does not like her being friends with Grace. I was like, well, damn. Well, damn. And I said, this is Joey putting out them subliminals. So basically, he's trying to cause an issue with Grace because he doesn't like the fact that Grace is friends with Jessie. He doesn't like it at all, when it was actually Jessie that gravitated towards Grace. It went the other way around in that sense. And now it's like they've become fast friends, but Joey sees Grace being a little bit undercover and basically not wanting to let him go. So she's basically trying to keep hold of him by being friends with Jessie. I was like, my God. I was like, my God, really, Joey? Really? That's how far your mind went? So Grace then gets defensive at this stage, and Joey's basically saying it's the truth. And I'm just like, there's something going on here for real with Joey, because I don't understand why he's trying to fuck up the whole situation for him and for Grace at the end of the day. I don't know where this is going. Basically, unless he's doing it to create drama with the cameras or this, that and the other, I'm saying it won't end well for him, because old Deadeye Jessie has already said he needs to be careful to what comes out of his mouth at this moment in time. But you know what, I guess Joey will learn the hard way. So then Matilda jumped in and starts giving Joey issues over the situation with Grace. And again, although Joey is trying to deny the fact that, you know what, something might be there for him as to why he's going at Grace, it's like actions speak louder than words, my guy. Like, seriously, actions speak louder than words. So again, Sean don't shut the fuck up. Like, seriously, he don't shut up, and actually says with his chest that he feels Grace is sabotaging what Joey and Jessie have going on. I was like, now I see what's happening here. Joey is trying to stop Jessie from being friends with Grace. And I thought that's really a manipulative thing for Joey to do, and it's kind of gross at the end of the day. That's what he's trying to do with his behaviour. After Sean said what he said, I was like, yeah, nah, like seriously, there's something underlying going on here. So basically, when it comes to Josh and Mimi, he says that Mimi has a tendency to overthink things, and Mimi gets that right too. So it's basically, the next question was, which couple do you think won't last outside of the villa? Sean says Grace and Ruben. I would agree with that, to be fair. Matilda said Joey and Jessie. I believe he's still into Grace, so I would agree with that too. And Joey thinks Matilda copped out by saying Joey and Jessie, and I'm like, no, it's her opinion. That's how she sees it, my guy. She ain't copped out on nothing. At the end of the day, she don't see Joey and Jessie making a go of it outside of the villa, and I don't see it either. I don't see it with Grace and Ruben. I don't see it with Joey and Jessie. I don't really see it with Josh and Mimi, and I don't really see it with Ao and Jessica. At the end of the day, I really don't. I'll probably see a little bit more with Sean and Matilda and Kieran and Nicole, but that's about it for me. So Joey is still pressing that if Jessie wasn't in the picture, Grace would have chose him. And I really believe that this is because Grace chose a big black man, namely Josh, over him. Basically, that if she wasn't coupled up with Ruben, she would definitely be picking Josh. Joey didn't like that at all. And if I was Jessie, I'd be looking at the way that Joey is reacting to this situation, because it ain't right. It really ain't right. So Grace in the end ended up having to call Joey out about his behaviour. Not only is he making himself look like a dickhead, he's making his woman look like a dickhead too, having to listen to him literally debate why Grace would have chosen him if she wasn't coupled up with Ruben, which is a fucking joke. We get through the game and the two winners end up being Grace and Ruben and Mimi and Josh. So we then end up getting to the night time, and literally people were going off about Joey's attitudes towards Grace, and Jessie didn't want to have those conversations, but she knew that she would have to. Grace basically said it felt like it was personal, and it fucking was. It really was. What Joey was doing towards Grace was absolutely personal. So Matilda talks to Joey and basically told Joey that he did wind her up and said that he was an arsehole, and Joey really believes that Grace is being sneaky. I will say that yes, I don't like Grace in the slightest. Like I don't really like her. That doesn't mean to say that she was showing any untoward actions in being friends with Jessie, because at the end of the day, as again, Grace didn't seek Jessie out to be friends with. It was the other way around. And what Joey needs to realise, that you have limited options in which to speak to people within there and form any type of friendships, because you're all sat together in this literal pressure cooker of an environment at the end of the day, because you know what, it is a social experiment when they plonk them all together in this Love Island. It's like, you know, let's open the doors and let them loose, basically. That's what it comes down to. So Grace has no choice but to try and make friends with people, and that's what happened at the end of the day. Joey may not like it, but you know what, live and let live. So I believe that Joey is definitely being slightly manipulative by seeking for Jessie and Grace not to talk to each other anymore. And I think he's using Grace and the situation that he has with there to do it. I really don't think what he's saying about Grace is on par, to be fair. I don't believe Grace has those feelings for him. I believe that Grace wanted to be friends with him, but he's just decided to cause this issue out of nowhere, it may seem like. So Mimi and Nicole are talking, and Mimi is basically saying that she feels better about the situation with Josh and just wants to be slow and slow things down. Nicole was definitely pissed at Sean's comment in regards to Mimi, and Mimi was saying that she still feels things with Ao, but the key word is, she said that they've put those feelings on hold as they are, because at the end of the day, they're both saying they want to respect that the couples that they're in, but they're not looking to literally explore the feelings that they do hold with each other. So basically Nicole is saying that there's something there from both parties, and basically Mimi is just explaining that it's difficult to navigate in regards to how things are going. And all I would say is Nicole needs to stop the chatter that she's putting into Mimi's ear, because she's chatting a lot of guff at the end of the day, because Mimi is of a playing field where when it comes to AO, she's stepping on eggshells, especially even pulling AO for conversations, because she doesn't want to upset Josh and she doesn't want to upset Jessica at the end of the day. And as I'm saying, those conversations needs to happen between AO and Mimi, because the situation is just getting so out of hand, like it's blowing up all over the place. I must say, with that chat that she had with Nicole, I was kind of disappointed in Mimi, because AO does not deserve any part of her in any way, shape or form. And I'm hoping that she does give Josh a chance, but Josh needs to call his jets too. And some people, I think, need to understand up in there that keep throwing up this, oh, well, Mimi's in the equation, or they've got feelings for each other. That needs to stop as well, because people are just being absolutely bloody fickle and not thinking of the consequences of what they're saying when it comes to Mimi and Io in that sense. Jessica was pissed, like proper pissed at Sean and what he was saying. But what she kind of also needs to understand is that it was AO that's feeding them that information, not the other way around. Sean was not just free balling it and shooting from the hip when he was saying what he was saying about Mimi being in the equation. It's the impression AO's been giving Sean and to Joey. He's just hiding behind that at the moment. So basically, Jessica did ask Io the direct question, is there anything behind it? But the problem with Jessica is when she asks a question, she kind of likes to then overtalk AO and don't let him answer. But he was smiling and everything. And all I'm going to say is, when Jessica finds out that this man's been chatting all kind of sorts of bullshit behind her back, she ain't going to be too happy about it at the end of the day. So Jessica basically said to AO that you are my favourite person, and then told AO to say it back. And I'm like, no. You let the guy say it back if they want to say it back. You don't then tell them they have to say it back, because there'll be no meaning behind those words in the slightest. So Jessie and Joey are having a conversation, and basically she says she feels the shit with Joey and what happened in that game was unnecessary, and that she was embarrassed, and it completely bothered her as to why he was so bothered. So Joey again goes off on well, you're friends with my ex vibe, and I'm like, he's really trying to tell Jessie what to do with this. He's really trying to manipulate the situation that Jessie no longer speaks to Grace. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to isolate them from the other at the end of the day, and I'm sorry, that is manipulation 101. So Joey honestly believes that Grace has strong feelings for him and has latched onto Jessie because she can't have him. I was like, no. Even Jessie said the right things, that it's a red flag for her. And I'm like, Joey's kind of been a red flag, to be honest with you, with the way how he treated Sam, then the way how he treated Grace. He's kind of been a red flag walking already. And when it comes to some of the scenarios in that game, he was showing his red flags all over the place. So then Joey starts to play victim, as he does, because he doesn't accept any responsibility at all. He keeps going on about the fact that Jessie is best friends with Grace. I'm just like, and then Jessie sits there believing in his face that she believes that he was trying to protect her feelings and protect her. And I'm like, how did she deduce that? And this is what I'm saying, Jessie likes to take everything that Joey says at face value, like proper at face value. So Joey decides that he's going to go and have a chat with Grace. Did not go well in the slightest, because basically he turned around and just went for the jugular at her, and he's saying, oh, I'm so gutted that no one has come in and swept you off your feet. And I was like, huh? What? So basically Joey's basically saying that he doesn't think he could be friends with Grace, even though they both accepted that they would be friends with each other, because he believes that Grace really truly doesn't want to be friends with him. I don't know where he's getting this from. There was no apology to Grace about how he behaved, and Grace did deserve one from him, to be honest with you. Joey's behaved appallingly, and he still continues to behave appallingly in this conversation, so rightfully so. Grace called him out on his little speech that he was giving. So Joey is still trying to tell Grace that she would have wanted to be with him if Jesse wasn't there, and Grace is saying no, not at all. And I'm like, what is wrong with this man? Why is he not listening to what this girl is, to the words coming out of Grace's mouth at the end of the day? Joey really wants to blame Grace for his behaviour. And Grace is basically saying, I don't have any feelings for you, and you can't accept the fact that I've moved on and I'm kind of happy in my space, and I'm happy for you with how you're getting on with Jesse. And that's what Joey he can't accept that in the slightest, which is rather telling. So that conversation ended up in them no longer wanting to talk at all or wanting to be around each other, and that's where that episode ended. I'll be back again in quick succession with the next episode. As always, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know when I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do all the good things that you do. And I'll be back across your screens very, very soon. Peace out.